YouTube channel, and I haven't said that in like forever, but one word: university. If you know, you know. But today I'm going to be talking about vulnerability. So last week I went on a, let's call it a youth retreat. I went on a youth retreat, and one of the sermons was like talking about vulnerability, and it just got me thinking. And like there's two things I realized about vulnerability. By the way, if you see me looking down, it's because I have my laptop with notes, because if I don't have notes in front of me, I like get really confused. So yeah, two things I've noticed are: one, vulnerability is strength, and two, vulnerability trumps perfection. So as I said, vulnerability is strength. So vulnerability comes from the Latin word for wound, vulnus, and vulnerability is essentially being open to injury, being open to pain, whether that be emotional, physical, whatnot. So you're probably thinking, if I'm open to pain, if I'm open to injury, how in the world does that mean I'm strong? How in the world is that strength? Like, pain and strength, they don't look like they go together. They almost look like oxymorons, do you know what I mean? But hear me out. So basically, it's strength because you're willing to overcome fear. You're willing to step out of that comfort zone. Remember the comfort zones. If you haven't watched that video, go watch my very first video on comfort zones. But yeah, if like stepping out of your comfort zone in itself, it just takes courage. So that's what I mean when I say vulnerability is strength. So in this day and age, being nonchalant has become like an almost desired trait. Not caring about anything or anyone, not expressing emotions, refusing to love or fall in love, refusing to face our fears, and just isolating ourselves. Like, I feel people feel like that's protecting their mental health, but in reality you're actually just destroying it. Like, you're causing your own sadness by trying to block out sadness. Do you see how weird that sounds? Like, it's not normal, and these are like the fastest ways to fall into the depths of depression. And do you know the worst thing is, like, with being nonchalant, it's like people almost glorify depression as though it's a desired trait, and it doesn't make sense to me. Like, why would you want to be depressed? Why would you want to be upset? Like, I don't. It's actually tragic, but I know it can be hard to let your guard down because it's scary, and I often fall into this trap of using past experiences to dictate my future moves. So if I was in a situation before and the outcome of that situation wasn't positive, if that situation is again presented to me, I'll either shut off, run away from the situation, or I'll be very uptight. Like, I'll have my guard up just because I don't want the same thing to happen again. And I feel like sometimes we feel we can prevent pain from happening without realizing pain is actually inevitable. Going from secondary school and whatnot, being mocked about the way I look, everything basically, to like sixth form or university, just growing up in general, like I've always been cautious of people. I don't like being the center of attention. I don't like people looking at me, because I always feel like, even though these are a completely different set of people, they're still mocking me. They're still laughing at me the same way those old set of people did. So, and it's like, I don't know. Like, I feel uneasy, very uneasy around people. Even just walking, I look at the ground because I'm so scared to look straight up, just in case people are looking at me, because it's like I'm waiting for something bad to happen, and that in itself is really bad. Like, from that, I've restricted myself from entering new situations, from learning new things, gaining new friends, expanding myself, my knowledge, just growing as an individual. And I think the strength part comes from acknowledging that bad times will come. people will be mean, people will leave you. You'll face challenges in life. Not everything is easy. To be honest, nothing is easy, and nobody likes to be hurt. Nobody likes to lose loved ones. Nobody likes feeling alone or dismayed. Nobody likes to look or even to feel weak. But accepting that these things are things and feelings are inevitable, that in itself takes courage. As I said, it's a big step to take for many people, and that's why I'm saying like it's strength. I don't believe I can face anything by myself. Like, only through God's divine strength can I be strong. I won't sit and lie on this camera and be like, oh yeah, I'm always feeling strong. I've always got God on my side. Well, I do always have God on my side, but like I'm always, what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, sorry. I'm always happy and whatever, but sometimes I do find it hard to allow God to carry me, or to allow anybody else to help me for that matter. Like, talking to people, I get scared that people won't receive what I'm trying to say. People won't understand, that things won't go my way or how I want it to go, and I lose faith and I lose hope, and sadness begins to envelop me, and it becomes overwhelming. Then I stay in my bed, then I isolate myself. You see that cycle? It just goes round and round and round, and then life feels like it's never ending, and then I'm just tired. I'm saying this now because this is actually how I feel right now. But yeah, and then, but however, Paul in the Bible says, I don't actually like remember off the top of my head, but so I have to read it. He says, and this is actually one of my favorite Bible verses: therefore I take pleasure in infirmities, in persecutions, in distresses for Christ's sake. For when I am weak, then I am strong. Essentially, even though he found himself in sticky situations, but if you read, like, he was in some sticky situations, he was still joyful. And I remember last week at the retreat, the pastor must have said, what is it? Joy is like, it's permanent. It's a permanent feeling, whereas happiness is temporary, because joy is found in the Lord, and obviously God is permanent. And happiness, that comes momentarily, that comes when, you know, you see a friend or you eat some good food, or, do you know what I mean? But joy is always there. Like, you can be sad for a while, but that feeling of joy is still there, because you know the sadness isn't always going to be there. Wait, I said happiness is temporary. I meant sadness is temporary, but happiness is temporary. Guys, listen, we'll get there. But yeah, he was still joyful. He didn't let the sticky situations overwhelm him, because when he was in the lowest of the low, he was able to channel the strength and the love of God. And sometimes I feel like God, not even sometimes, God does put us in vulnerable situations, or situations where we need to be vulnerable, because those are the places where he can actually reach us. Because sometimes it's like we get so high and mighty, we feel like we don't need God. And I remember I saw this quote. I put loads of quotes in my phone, and it said, until Christ is all that we have, we won't realize Christ is all that we need. Guys, I just, do you know, that one hit me, because it is so true. You can have all the world and still feel empty. Like, I don't know if it was last week or another sermon I heard, can't remember, well, the pastor was like, look at those rich people, like, they never just sit down when they have money, they still work for more and more and more money. I don't know if you've ever watched Simpsons, but you know Mr. Burns, yeah, like, look at him, he can never have enough, because it's like there's still a hole in their heart. And to me, not even just to me, the honest truth is, like, God is the only one that can fill that hole, if you're actually honest. And I know some of you are going to be like, oh my gosh, but does God really exist? Oh my gosh, but I don't believe in God. Well, maybe you should take a chance. Just maybe you should take a chance, because, listen, like, having a relationship with God is like a life-changing experience. That's the next video. So my second point, vulnerability trumps perfection. So too often people love to portray themselves as though they're living a perfect life. Like you're scrolling through Instagram, you're thinking, raw life goals, relationship goals. Oh, I want that. Oh, I want that. Da 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 da. People like to act like they don't need help, like they can do all things by themselves, like they're the top dog. But really, that's not the case. And from that, like, there's two things I can say. Firstly, no man is an island. It was never intended for us to do things alone. Ecclesiastes 4 verse 9 to 10 says, two are better than one, because they have a good reward for their labour. For if they fall, the one will lift up his fellow, but woe to him that is alone when he falleth, for he hath not another to help him up. And it's true, like, when you're going through situations, there's no one to help you when you're all alone, when you isolate yourself, when you act like you've got it all together. You're just there breaking down by yourself. And as I said before, I know it's hard to open up, but sometimes it's best for you, because if you're not real about your situation, how can the situation go away? And the second thing I had to say is a saying that everyone should know: pride cometh before a fall. It is better to admit that you need help, better to admit that you're not perfect and that you have faults, that there are battles that you face, because as I said before, you're just going to keep going round and round and round and round. And these things, yeah, like accepting that you need help and all of that, they all come with being self-aware, being authentic. Or authenticity, I think, is like something that our generation, something that everybody, not even just our generation, like when I talk to some of these old people, they like to act like they always had it together. But I feel like if people are actually real with each other, then we can all grow together and as individuals. People love to preach, oh yeah, self-love, being kind to yourself, doing this, doing that. But how can you be kind to yourself if you're not honest with yourself? You're portraying this image of yourself to everybody else, but without realizing that you've also lied to yourself. You actually believe that that image that you portrayed of yourself is actually who you really are. How can you be perfect when you're fake? You're not an original, you're just something that it's not even something you want to desire to be, because who wants to be nonchalant and have no feelings or emotion? To be you, you have to accept all the parts of you. This includes the broken parts. Like, how can those broken parts be fixed if you don't even acknowledge them? I saw a quote on Instagram that said, in order to love who you are, you cannot hate the experiences that shaped you. And this is so true. This is what I keep saying, like, when you allow yourself to be vulnerable, allow yourself to feel, allow yourself to delve into your heart and your soul, and just go back to, it's so hard reliving painful moments, but sometimes we need to, in order to understand why we are the way we are, because that's the only way we can grow. Like, even sometimes when I'm sitting in counselling and my counsellor's asking questions and I'm talking and I'm reliving those things all again, I'm telling myself, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry. Like, it can get so painful and I'm just like, don't cry, don't cry. But it's like, sometimes you just need to cry. Sometimes you just need to sit and cry. Just let it all out. Like, crying is human. We wouldn't have tear ducts if they weren't meant to be used. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're humans. It's feelings, it's emotions. Like, it gets on my nerves. Before we can go upwards, we need to take a couple steps back and realize, like, this happened. Let me deal with it. And why are my flatmates making noise? This happened. Let me deal with it so I can move on. Only when you start growing can you, in a sense, become perfect, because perfection is attainable, but it's only attainable with the one that is perfect, and that is God. as I said before, being vulnerable allows God to capture us and then perfect us. But he doesn't need to perfect us to use us. He can use us in the midst of our vulnerability. And this is something that I'm still learning. So today, I'm petitioning that you be real with yourself, be vulnerable. Obviously, you need to use discernment with like who you open up with and all of that stuff, because let's be real, not everyone has your good intentions for you at heart. Like, I'm be honest, but I mean, sometimes we've got to take risks in life, and until you love your authentic self, then you're not really living. Until you allow yourself to be vulnerable in the presence of God, then you're not really growing. So yeah, I think this video was short, but I hope you gained something from it, one thing from it, and let me know how you feel. If you want to be vulnerable with me, I'm here for you to talk. Remember what I said, Auntie T, always just, my doors are open, my social media is open, come and chat to me. The Bible says iron sharpeneth iron. Like, I'm here to help, mate, you know what I mean? And other people are there to help, so just allow people to help you. The biggest thing with mental illness is finding help. You can't overcome it or even heal or get through it by yourself. You need to allow yourself to be helped, whether that be professional help or, to be honest, it should be professional help, but find something that does help you, because obviously not one brush can fit everyone, but there's different things out there for you. So please try and open up. Yeah, thanks for watching my video, guys.